Hello out there, YouTubers. Haven't really done a movie, and I'm guessing since last Friday when I showed the cable, taking the cable, well, I didn't show taking the cable off of this one, but I took the cable off of it because it didn't look like it should be. It's probably been that way for a year or two, who knows, but I just go ahead and change it because it really better safe than sorry type of thing. Then you got the cost of the cable. Cost of the cable 63 cents a foot if it's made overseas someplace. If it's made in this country, it's $1.98 a foot. So I ordered the $1.98 a foot cable. Is it going to be better? Who knows? You know, I think that the stuff that's made overseas should be being made to the people who order its specifications. The only thing that would change, the material should cost the same here as the material they ship over there to make it. The only difference should be the labor cost, which we all know the labor over there is a lot less expensive, but I don't want to get into that. Anyhow, I ordered the cable yesterday morning. Yesterday being Tuesday, today is Wednesday. I'm hoping it'll come in tomorrow, Thursday. It's only coming from 20 miles down the road, which I should have just gone and driven over there, maybe 30 miles, but that's in Baltimore, and this boy just ain't capable of driving in that Baltimore rat race anymore. So, you know, it's supposed to be $15 shipping, so for $15 shipping, I can't drive that far and all that kind of stuff, so I just had it shipped. And it's really not in any big hurry. It's been rain, and then wasn't rain, then it was mud, then a little bit less mud, then just about ready to get out there, and then like yesterday, we went down to an outing with the wife's brothers and sisters down in Annapolis, so I didn't get anything done yesterday, so there's no movie yesterday. In between all that, cutting grass. Right now I'm cutting grass at about 10 hours a week, so I really haven't had a chance to make a good movie, and I'd have to put this in the, you know, kind of a junky movie, but it's what goes on movie. So jibber jabber around the sawmill, I guess. I did. Oh, somebody wanted me to show them the maintenance that I do on this sawmill. I would say there's probably 1 billion people on YouTube, and of all the people, if you rank my maintenance, quality of my maintenance, I would probably be dead last. I am not a maintenance type of person. I'll check the oil and do this and do a couple little things. Most of the time I don't do anything until it breaks, and even after I know it's broke, if I think I can get another mile out of it, I'll go ahead and do it. You remember a couple videos ago, I'll show you what it was. I crashed this this piece here. We're going to zoom you around and get you seasick here. Remember when we crashed that piece? It was the cable day. Remember that? Well, I had one made because I knew that was bad. Here's the new one. I just routed some edges on it. I just didn't like that one. It's twice as heavy as the other one, literally heavy. It just didn't feel comfortable. That's why I went back to the old one with a crack. But I think I pretty much decided that I'm going to go with this one here instead of the broken half one. So that takes care of that, and I'll try it. If I don't like it, I don't know what I'll do exactly. Maybe find a lighter one. I think this one, if you can see this one, I don't know if you can see it. I know you can't see it. The growth rings on this thing are astronomically close. I'm going to take it off the camera and see if you can. I don't think this camera will pick it up, but it's kind of neat. Nah, I can't. It's not showing up in the picture, but there must be, I'm guessing in that little bit, I bet there's 100 rings. They're only the thickness of a razor blade through here. There's probably 30 of them just in that little section. Here they kind of spread out a little bit. Anyhow, we don't need to get into that. I'm gonna roll the carriage back. Another person had asked, I'll show a couple things I do to maintenance, but I really don't get into maintenance a whole lot. You know, sorry about that. I can tell you, I can tell you when I changed the oil in the engine last, which is probably 2 years ago, because I have to look at the tag. I'm going to roll this carriage back and show you a couple of things I do to the carriage. And then somebody else asked, they wanted to have me show them how I was going to restring the cable on here. Now this should be pretty easy to pull. Look at that, man. Now this different sawmills, I'm going to have to take you off the stand to show you some of this stuff. That's all there is to it. And then you get a shaky film. Sorry about that. The unit back here, you know, it's got an oil here, it's got another oil someplace down there, I don't even know where. Most of the time I just slop oil all over it. You know, I don't care, it's just waste oil. Put it on these because all these little things go up and down. There's a spring load in here that every now and then you got to clean the sawdust out of it so it stays. Can you see the detent in it here? Maybe you can see that detent in. There's 4 of those detents in there, and if sawdust gets in there, that won't detent quite as nice. You know, I put oil. You can kind of see it's all slobbered up with oil. On this particular frick mill, it's got the Hyatt bearings, so you have to flip these little things up here and shoot some oil in there, and it just runs out. So I don't know how good it really does. Let's see what else. On the sawmill itself, there's an outboard bearing there. There's an inboard bearing here with another one of those little flipper things there, and I don't even remember. I think that might be a lead Babbitt one there. I do oil the blade down. If you see the blade and it looks shiny, it's not because it's silver, it's because it's covered with oil. That's one thing I try to do, is oil the blade down. You have one, I put a grease fitting on there. There's one on that bearing, and there's one on the back bearing, but you can't see now because I got this goofy cover on. Another reason I don't really care for the cover. And you got 2 or 3 grease fittings in there. You got a grease fitting right here that I put in, a remote one. See it right there? That goes to the shaft that this rides on, which is, here's another one here, which you can see it's got grease on it, but who knows the last time I greased it, to be honest with you. There's a Babbitt bearing here, so you just dump oil in it when needed. And then there's one grease fitting on that bearing there. I got a grease fitting on that pillow bearing there, and another one over there. And I think there's 2 grease fittings on the PTO unit over there. We'll go over there. So you got to do that, and who knows how many I'm missing that I don't know. Let's see, here's one here, then here's another one here. You know, maybe once a year I put a couple shots in there. I put tags on it because I can't remember. I got tags on everything. So I changed the oil last in 8/22 of 18, so it's been 3 years, I guess. But the engine doesn't have that many hours on it, and Detroit's, you always add an oil, so I don't know. Let's see, I cleaned the air filter. Okay, I cleaned the air filter 9/18 of 17, so it might be time to clean the air filter. Like I said, I'm the last person that you want to rely on as far as lubrication. Now here, I just dump oil on the top of it and let it run over. That's I don't know what's in there. It might just be a bushing bearing. It's not a tapered roller bearing. Align the track. I usually check the track alignment. Maybe I like to do it in the spring. I don't think I did it this spring. It kind of depends, you know, on how it's sawing, whether I really check the alignment of the thing. If it's sawing pretty nice boards, then generally I kind of like to let sleeping dogs lie. There's no point in, and if they're square, then you don't have to shim it up. On my particular mill, let me roll this back down. I think we've seen this. I can always roll it back. The thing rolls so easy right now. On this mill here, this is where the split is. I'm gonna try to hold this camera pretty straight. I got a plate that I made, and then I can run this track on this side here or this side here, in and out as needed with separate things. So the track, all my guide rail is all easy to move left and right. That's something I made. The back one I just kind of let fly. It seems to hang in there. You can see the turnbuckles I got holding it down. So I have these little, I don't know what you ever want to call them, hoodoogies that I made for that, and they go all the way down. I don't remember what I got in here. Maybe I got one in here. Doesn't look like it. Yeah, there is. I got them all the way down, so there must be one back there too. Well, I was a good boy. Huh, I don't even remember that. Here's on the back of it, remember those little flipper things? You just flip that up, shoot a couple shots of oil in there, and that oils the bearings down there. These things here I made because the hide bearings are so wore out. This keeps the axle in play at a pretty good thing. You know, put a drop of oil on your, what do you call it? Dog rack, I guess is what you call that. You can see down there in the top of that, there's a little oil hole. You put oil in that. Then another little oil thing in the top of that. So that's kind of what that is. So that's about it for maintenance. I'm sure there's some other things I do that I don't remember, and different mills have different ways of doing it. Let me slide this back down. I want to try to show you. Look how nice that thing rolls. You just let go of it and it keeps going. Here's the cable that I got to hook up right there. It'll go in this thing right here, and then you tighten it up and it goes back, which anybody can figure out how to do that. I think if you're to the point where you have a sawmill, you better know how to do that. Even though I don't think I ever adjusted. I can't ever remember adjusting any of that stuff. I put this in here because I redid the carriage, and this isn't loose. I could probably take it out now, but the carriage wanted to rack just a little bit. It's a short carriage, so it could do that. So I have, oh, you can't see it. I probably won't even show it. It's that chain with a turnbuckle here, and I just put a bolt through there. It's part of the sawmill, and then put a welded a chain link on there, and then somehow I came up with the same thing on this side, so I can take the racking when it wanted to rack just a little bit when I redid it. This thing here, that's probably one of the nicest things I ever did. All these carriages are just tore up here. Somebody lent me a hand planer, and I planed that down 1/4 of an inch and put a 3" by 1/4 inch plate on there in the back and the front. And that was, if you're redoing a sawmill, I kind of recommend that. That made it a whole lot nicer if you don't have a metal or a steel carriage. Now the next thing, running the cable. Gentleman asked me if I could show him how to run the cable. No, I can't show you how to do that. And here's the reason why. Frick has 4 different mills, and different years they'd run the cable one way, and then the next way, and then the next year they'd run it a different way, and then the next year they'd run it a different way. I should have taken a picture how I took this one off, because I don't even remember how it went on. I got a pretty good idea. Basically, you're supposed to have three wraps around the drum. Then it's going to go all the way down around that pulley, and then it comes all the way back, goes underneath this whole shooting match, okay, and hooks up to this one here in the front. Then the other one off that drum cable, would you put the 3 wraps in? I know you're going to get a little seasick. Comes all the way back, goes around that one, and all the way back, and comes up to this one. But they have it strung. I've seen them string it. Okay, this one on this mill is in the head side of the mill, or the drive side of the mill. And sometimes I guess it changes whether you're pulling off the front of the mill or the guide wheel or the back wheel. But I've seen some mills, and there might even be a hole in this one here. Yep, there's a hole in that one. Now that could be for 2 things. Sometimes they hook 2 of these carriages together, but I see some of them drive off that side, some of them drive off that side, some of them drive in the front on the one, in the back on the other. So to tell you how to string it, you really just kind of play along. Personally, I would rather pull a log through the mill. The reason I'd rather pull the log through the mill is because if you're starting to push it through the carriage and you get into a bind, it can kink it different than if you're pulling it. But I think the reason they do that is so you're not just pulling on this one beam on a log. So I'd really like to have it, if I was to do it the way I want to, is I'd have it attached there for backup, have that cable tight all the way up to here, where's my finger, here, and have it pulling from here, but backing up the pull from there. You know, if you try to push a string through something, it's going to buckle up. Where if you try to pull a string through something, it won't buckle up. That's my theory, but that ain't how it's going to be done. But that's kind of my theory on it. Let's see. Another thing. So that's kind of it on the cable thing. It's supposed to have 3 wraps on there. That's a small drum for a small tie mill, which that's what this mill is. That means it would just cut railroad ties. The other mills have a lot bigger drum here, so you can get out to a 85. I think 90-foot track is the most that you can get from a Frick. My new one's 80-foot a track. I should have made it 90, but I screwed up. Trying to think what else. We're up to 15 minutes. We're getting there. Let's see. I forgot to say I oil these. Let me put this back on the stand so I can show you how I oil those. And I don't know that it makes any difference. I think that's a pretty good one. I think that's it. I just take my oil can. I do it on both sides. Make sure you got some oil in it. And let me pull it in some so you can see it better. You know, the dogs, you know, you can put oil all through the dogs. I guess you're in the camera on the dogs, maybe not. Yeah. I'm kind of running out of. Anyhow, you can oil this rack here so the dogs go up and down. And if you didn't know how the dogs work, I've showed it in other movies. This pulls a pin out. This is spring, maybe not in there. This springs a little wedge that goes into this tooth. So generally when you do it, you just grab it and push your thumb in here, and that puts it in neutral. And then you go down and then you ratchet it down in there. So you can put oil on those. But how I oil these is I just tip this over a bit and just, you know, shoot it up there like that. And that, you can see that oil gets in there. So I'll go down and do that. You know, and I don't know whether that's a good thing to do or not a good thing to do. Look at that thing, that carrier's already going. You can't see the one here I just did. On the bigger mill, a jumbo mill, which is the biggest one Frick made, which is bigger than my number 1, they had drip oilers right in there. Which on that number 1, I don't know if I'm going to put drip oilers in there or not. Look how easy that rolls. Ain't that nice? You're probably out of camera anyhow. Don't have my cameraman. So that's about it. I had to punch a video together. Just the ones that you've been watching down at Jeff's, those were done maybe 2 weeks ago. And look at that tree getting crashing down on that Jeep further and further. You know, there's 2 Jeeps there. They probably want to get in the film. They haven't been in the film in a while. That tree came down and crushed. Actually, that's the limbs off another tree. That one, the tree. There's 2 Jeeps there. There's one on the other side of that green one. So that's the Jeep in Frickin' Jeep. If you're wondering where I got the name Frickin' Jeep. Hope to hang the saw blade. Hope to hang. Can't talk. I'll feel like a. Hope to hang the saw blade. And I don't know. It just depends on the weather. I'm getting rained out constantly, which a lot of people are in the same weather pattern as we are. I have an oak here ready to go. I had a job for it for the yard sale that was a couple weeks ago. I've had these all trimmed up ready to go. Run a metal detector over them, so they're all, I think, good to go. I sure hope they are. So I want to saw these 3 first. And then I want to hang the new blade. They call putting a blade on a sawmill hanging a blade. So I want to hang the blade. Saw some of that poplar, and then down here there's a big furniture grade poplar down there. Actually, there's 2 of them down there. I want to saw them. That's probably what I'll saw first with that new blade, just to give it a whirl, see how it does. So I hope in a week or so to get that in place. So that's about it for this movie. You know, this isn't a very great one, but it's just kind of what's going on. I'm getting rained out, getting rained out, getting rained out, like all the other guys that are in this rain pattern. It's kind of like hard to get content out when you're getting a shower on. I got out today and started working. The next thing you know, a rain shower came in, and it was a blue sky. And then the next thing you know, you're getting rained on. And now I got mud. So anyhow, if you I don't want to ask you if you like this movie, because this one's kind of a shaky movie, but I kind of hope you stuck around for it. And please hit the like button if you would, and subscribe if you want to see better ones than this. And if you didn't like this one, if this one annoyed the heck out of you, send it to somebody you don't like so you can annoy the heck out of them. So that's where we're at. We'll see you guys later. I'm going to post this tonight. Today is Wednesday, so this is a legit time. I think there's a couple more sawing down at Jeff's house, so I'll try to get them on. It was pretty comical about those logs down there. Now that I'm thinking, you know, I keep rambling on because my train kind of went off track, and then it gets back on track, and I remember stuff I forgot. So it's part of getting old. You guys will learn it someday, and some of you already kind of know it. So anyway, hit the like and subscribe if you would. Help me out any way you can. I think I got one or two more sawing down at Jeff's, and I hope to be sawing here hopefully tomorrow. I've got just about everything cleaned up, ready to go. So we'll see you guys on YouTube tonight. This is not a delayed like Jeffrey's movies. So we'll see you guys. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.